freedom of nations and peoples to make their own decisions.
Back in July, when I started sharing, my focus was kind of turned onto the way things are in the world. It was then that I began to realize that, the fragile state of things. And I just had this worry, because I had been focused on the world, and I just thought, I'm like, the way things seem to be going, it just seems like war is inevitable, and that really scared me, because the climate change that we've already seen in the world has been devastating. So today I was very, very concerned with the speeches at the UN. So I watched them both. I gotta tell you, it made me feel, I used to be one of the lead writers for World Wrestling. We used to do these things where the wrestlers would come in the ring and they'd grab their microphone, we'd write these speeches for them. They were, we called them promos, and one wrestler would call out the other wrestler, and we'd see who's the baby face and who's the heel, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. And I gotta tell you, it seemed a lot like President Obama and President Putin were cutting two promos. And that kind of scared me because, both of them talk about how we need world collaboration, and both of them are saying that we need to unite the world, and that we need to think of the people, and we need to seek a peaceful resolution. But then both of them also took stabs at each other. Obama saying that Russia's doing criminal things, and they're terrorizing the sovereignty of the Ukraine, and Putin is saying that we basically establish rebel movements like ISIS, and that we're hypocritical, and that we are actually the enemy. Both of them kind of pointing fingers at each other. And when I first did that video in August, nothing like this was going on in the world. We heard rumblings shortly after about North Korea and South Korea, and there was a peaceful resolution there. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've been sort of torn on how I should share things. I've been torn about what I should actually say to all of you, because I don't want you to think that I'm inviting, war, because I don't want that. In fact, today I was in prayer that, this meeting would go very, very well. And tonight, Obama and Putin, they are both meeting with each other, and they're speaking one-on-one. And my God, they need to come to terms. We need to forgive each other our past. We need to let go, and we need to come together, and we need to see that united is the only way that, this world can survive. The world system that I keep talking about, the world system that I keep saying is coming to an end. It's going to end either here today, when these two great leaders and the rest of the world come together and that we start a new day, which, happened. Or it's going to come on the heels of terrible war, more devastating climate change, and horrific life lost. I said that September was going to be a month of change in the world, and I said that change was coming, and this world has changed. And I hope that each and every one of you are taking the time to realize that collectively we can change things. Collectively, if we put aside our hate and we forgive, and we stop condemning, and we stop tearing down, and we stop judging others, and we stop thinking that we know better, and we stop putting our God before another's God, or if together we come together as a people and we start to hold each other's hands as we build this world again, we will see heaven on earth. Because whatever is loosed in heaven is loosed in earth. Whatever is bound in heaven is bound in earth. And so while a lot of people are looking at, the literal interpretation of Revelation, and it's hard to not look at that, and it's hard not to say, wow, it's interesting. It actually is almost literally playing out as well. I want you all to realize that that story is actually going on within, and sure, it's manifesting without. But there's also a story in Revelation where Satan is bound, and that there's peace for the span of 1,000 years, and that God's kingdom rules. I believe that the hate in man's heart, the ego of man, the carnal id, the devil, if you will, I believe that it's time for us to put all that aside and start living for the other. I believe that we have a chance. We have a chance. And so I pray that the world changes today in a wonderful, beautiful way. As God warned Nineveh, they repented, and so did God. And that beautiful story, what I learned recently about it was the fact that Jonah, he didn't see how foolish and ignorant they were. And while he sat on the sidelines and he was watching the wicked city and he was waiting for all hell to break loose, sort of how I've kind of felt recently. Sort of waiting on the sidelines and watching things and saying, oh no, I warned you. Nobody's changing. When there was peace, Jonah got upset. I'm here to say I'm not going to be upset. I'm here to say, let peace reign. I love you all. Do me a favor and get connected. See what's going on in the world.